What's up, YouTube? Good to see you again. I'm going to be doing something I have not done in quite some time. I'm going to be breaking down the best trades of today. Today is November 30th. There were some amazing trades on SNDL and CAAS. I just wrapped up about a 1 hour long webinar with the Trade Buddy members, breaking down these trades and how I took them. But I wanted to give some time to you guys, my YouTube subscribers and watchers, and give some content like I used to all the time. Haven't done a video like this in quite some time. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to break down these trades. So we're going to hop over to my screen share and break down the trades I took on SNDL and CAAS. If you like these type of videos where I break down live trades, well, not live trades, but break down trades I took live, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you want to see more of these, and I can try to do my best to do more of them. So with that being said, enjoy, take some notes, and I'm sure that you'll learn some amazing things that no one else is telling you about trading penny stocks. All right, so here we are on my screen share. You can see here is eTrade Pro. These two charts here are eTrade Pro. Just to break down my screen real quick, these two scanners are scans. I have links down below to use them. And these three windows are trade ideas. These are just the scanners I use to trade stocks every single day. As far as actually placing trades, I use thinkorswim. It's just that when I am making these lessons to break down trades, I find it a lot easier to use eTrade Pro's charts. They're just a lot more manageable, and I've been using them for so long that I just know how to use these charts to teach. But today we're going to be talking about SNDL and CAAS. These are hands down the two top stocks I was watching this morning. And SNDL was my #1 play from the watch list that I put out in Trade Buddy. So real quick, let me show you. This morning I posted this watch list, and I had SNDL front and center right there. Posted this at 6:27 a.m. Said SNDL, we're seeing cannabis is having a vote to be legalized on the federal level later on this week. And SNDL is a cannabis company, so that was very positive news for it. And I said that if we can see SNDL hold 47 cents as support, then the daily chart breakout is in play. We'll take partial profits at the 200-day moving average at 60 cents and then hold the rest as long as previous resistance keeps on holding as new support. So that was the plan. Laid it out in pre-market and executed it perfectly. You can see that the way that I made this plan. So let's just break it down. #1, SNDL. It's first green day with news. Yes, it did move the past few days, but the news was kind of coming out today that weed was being legalized or potentially being legalized. So when I saw this on my scanners in pre-market, the first thing I always do is I want to see if the trade fits my system. The first thing I always do when I trade is I will only take a trade if I have a statistical edge. And that means that the trade has to fit my specific system. And for that, basically is called first green day with news. I want to buy previous resistance as new support. So I went to the daily chart on SNDL and I want to mark off my levels of previous resistance. The way I do that is I go to the line chart and I just basically look at levels of previous resistance. You can see we had this level here most recently at 47 cents right there. Next level of resistance is around 70 cents. And then we have these levels here around 90 cents and then around $1. Now you can see these ones up here are yellow. And the reason for that is because I also use the weekly chart and I look at the weekly line chart and I see that, we also have levels at 85 and around 98, $1 per share. So those are my levels of resistance. And those are where I want to plan to lock in partial profits on the way upwards if I'm right on the trade. So in pre-market, if I see that this stock is above the previous resistance of around 47 cents, now because this trade fits my plan of it, having first green day with news, it's breaking out of the daily chart, I can make a plan to dip buy off this 47 cent area and then make a trade plan off that. So as far as a trade plan goes, we would hop into the trade off of 47 cents. And real quick, I missed out one key part. This is the one indicator that I would use. I don't really share this with anyone usually, but it's the 200 simple moving average on the daily chart. And you can see that is right around 60 cents. So let me mark that off as well as a solid red line. And now we can make a trade plan where we would go long off of the previous resistance as new support, which is 46 cents. We have a plan to lock in partial profits. That first partial profit is at 60 cents. That means that the first level of partial profits is a 30% gain. That's a really good gain. That's a really good trade. And with a gain like that, you could risk 5 to 8% if you need to in case you're wrong. And then you have a trade plan made. You go long at 46 cents. You stop out at like 44 cents, 45 cents, wherever you're comfortable with it. And then you lock in partial profits into each new level of resistance. Now, the best way to do this is to take the human element out of the trade. So hands down, you need to learn how to make a trade plan based off a system that is statistically profitable. And I teach all that in TradeBuddy. Then you want to just make the trade plan. And then once it's made, let it do its thing. You don't want to try to mess with it. You don't want to try to predict what's going to happen. Just follow the plan, stick to it, let it play out. So I went long in this at around 47 cents. I locked in partial profits at 60 cents. It pulled back down. I didn't stop out the rest of my shares, and I just waited for the next partial profit to get hit. As it broke through 60 cents, I knew that my next level that we had of resistance was just around 70 cents. So as it was moving up, not when it hit it, but as it was going there, I sent a limit sell before it got there, because what that means is that I'm taking the human element out of the trade. I don't have to make the choice to sell when it gets there, because I'm sure you've dealt with it before. You have a stock that is hitting resistance and you know it's resistance. However, because you're kind of greedy and you want to make more money, you don't sell because you want to see if it could go further. But then it happens to be at the top, pulls back down, and now you're kind of pissed off because you could have locked in profits, but you didn't. This is a very common thing with trading where you know what to do, but when it comes down to make the choice, you just fail at it. So take the human element out of it. Make sure that you have your limit sells set prior to it getting to those prices, so then you don't have to make those choices in real time. As it broke through 70 cents, it kept on going higher. You can see I have, once again, a level from the weekly chart. Resistance, 85 cents. As it got there, I sold some more. At this point, I have almost no shares. And now I can just kind of let the stock do its thing, think freely. And realistically, now with SNDL, I went back to the weekly chart. And realistically, you can see that there's a big breakout on the weekly chart over 60 cents. So as long as 60 cents can hold as support, this thing can keep moving up over the next few days. Don't forget that new legislation is being voted on either Thursday or next Friday, right here. So now until that vote, we're going to see lots of people, lots of traders, lots of institutions who want to go into these cannabis stocks. So keep an eye on SNDL. Make sure that you have a plan if you trade it. But now we're going to look at a much different stock, different price, different float, different industry, and how I made the same exact plan to trade. So we had CAAS this morning as well, was gapping up. CAAS did have news. Let me just pull it up real quick. You can see CAAS had news that they had increased sales to the rising Chinese EV market in 2020. And they're projecting to sell about 140,000 units by the end of the year. And if you've been like trading at all over the past 2 or 3 weeks, then you know that the EV sector has been going crazy. We had Tesla, all-time highs. We had NIO, Solo, we had KNDI, we had KXIN, all these different companies, BLNK as well. All these EV companies have been going crazy. And CAAS is now in that same sector. So first green day with news. It's a decently low float, about 11 million shares. So now my next step is to look at the daily chart to see if I can buy any dips. So we're going to look at this like we looked at it in pre-market. All right. The first thing I did was go to the daily chart, daily line chart, and I just go to the line chart and I mark off levels of previous resistance. So you can see the first one I had was right here around 587. Make sure that you ignore this. This is just like a weird glitch within each trade. This is just a copy of today's candle. But you can see we have two levels that tested that as resistance twice around 587, just below $6. And after that, we have resistance at around 760s. And then after that, we have levels at around $9. Then after that, we have this one here at 1050s. Now, of course, after that, we go to the weekly chart. And you can see that's where I got the level. And you can see that's where I got the yellow lines from. So you can see we have this resistance here at around 730s. Then we have resistance at around 870s. And then we have resistance at around 1050s. So now we have our levels that we can play off of. And now we go intraday to see if we can make a trade plan. And this morning, as I see, there's one big thing about this chart. And this is why I always mark off my levels first before I look intraday, because I can see that the intraday price action is respecting, it's interacting with those bigger picture levels. So what that does for me is if I see the price action hitting one of my bigger picture levels as resistance, then that gives me more confidence that it'll test one as support. So once again, I can make a trade plan. We have the previous resistance as new support at around 587. If we go long at 587, then we have a plan to lock in partial profits at the next intraday resistance, which you can see is around the low to mid sevens. I'll just say the 730s. And if we do that, we make a profit of 26%. That's a decent trade. And you could easily risk anywhere from 5 to 8, 10% to take that trade. The way that I would plan it, and the way I plan all of my trades, is I do something a bit more advanced, which I teach in TradeBuddy, where it's basically you sell into the previous support as resistance. So say, for example, this had broken down. Say here it broke down into new lows and it broke through 587. Well, then what I would have done was understood that the plan was broken. My thesis was wrong. So then my next step would be to sell into previous support as resistance and leave the trade for basically break even. I do this all the time and it's shown in my video lessons. So my plan is that if I'm wrong, if I'm right, my plan is to lock in partial profits into the pre-market high, which is also a weekly chart level, and then hold the rest as long as previous resistance can hold as new support. Once it started to leave support, I knew that I was either going to go for my target or my stop. So yes, I held through all this price action because it never hit my target. It never hit my stop. You don't want to try to predict. Just let the plan play out. I had a limit sell waiting at 730s. You can see the price ran up and it filled my first order. It broke clean through too. That's totally fine. We don't know how far these will go. We just know where potential resistance is. And we pay ourselves at those levels of resistance. Next level of resistance we can see is around 875. Once again, I had a plan to lock in partials at known levels of resistance. So I had a partial limit sell waiting in the 870s. Got filled into that. And then after I was filled into this 870s, the next step, as long as previous resistance can hold as new support, the stock is 100% bullish. So if that's the case, the new support is around here where the previous resistance is, which is around mid sevens. And as long as it pulls back down and holds 7, you can hold the rest of the shares, or you can even add if you want to. I didn't get the add. It never pulled back down far enough. But you can see held bullish overall. Kept moving on upwards. Next level that we have on the chart is around 1050s. Once again, I had a partial limit set there to lock in profits. Ran up there, filled me. Now I have a tiny bit more shares left, not that many. but it still is going up even further. And that's how I plan every single trade. You can see that even though these two stocks, way different industries, way different price, way different float, but they were both planned on a simple, repeatable process that has a statistical edge. And that's all that trading is about, right? It doesn't matter that you trade every single stock that moves. It doesn't matter that you trade every single day. I almost thought I wasn't going to trade today, but then I saw SNDL and then I saw CAAS. But that's pretty much it, right? Have a system that is repeatable. Take it whenever you see your potential and let the trade play out. Don't try to predict. Just make a plan that makes sense and stick to it. All right. So if you enjoyed this lesson, please do me a favor, hit the like button, and also make sure that you subscribe. And also don't forget that YouTube, for some reason, makes you have to hit the notification bell as well. So it's not enough to just subscribe, but you have to hit the bell as well. Last thing I want to say is that we are doing an extension to our Black Friday sale. We are now doing a Cyber Monday sale. So if for whatever reason you missed out on the Black Friday sale to join TradeBuddy, you can now get in. There's links down below. Massive savings up to 50% off. This will close, I think, around December 6th. So you still have a few days to get into it. But you can see this is how we trade every single day. You can check out my Instagram, my Facebook to see testimonials. And also you can click the link down below to see the page to sign up and see all the awesome results that our students have gotten. All right. Thank you all so much. I'll see you in the next lesson.